In the middle of the 15th century, there existed a city that the entire world believed could never fall. A city that stood between continents, between civilizations, between the old world and the future itself. That city was Constantinople, the magnificent capital of the Byzantine Empire, the last surviving remnant of the ancient Roman world. For more than 1,000 years, Constantinople had stood unconquered. Its towering churches glittered beneath the sunlight. Its markets overflowed with treasures from Asia and Europe. Its harbors controlled some of the most important trade routes on Earth. But above all else, the city was feared for something even greater: its defenses. The legendary Theodosian walls, massive double-layered stone fortifications stretching across the land, reinforced with giant towers, protected by deep moats, and engineered with a level of sophistication centuries ahead of their time. Some sections measured over 5 meters thick. Entire armies had vanished beneath those walls. Persians failed, Arabs failed, Bulgars failed. Crusaders struggled against them. Countless kings, emperors, and generals dreamed of taking Constantinople, only to watch their ambitions shatter against its defenses. The city became more than a fortress. It became a myth. People across Europe and Asia believed Constantinople was impossible to conquer, eternal, untouchable. But history was about to change forever. In the year 1451, a 19-year-old prince ascended the Ottoman throne. His name was Sultan Mehmed II. To rival kingdoms and foreign ambassadors, he appeared inexperienced and immature. Many European rulers celebrated his rise, believing the Ottoman Empire had become vulnerable under a young and untested leader. They could not have been more wrong. Behind the calm face of the young sultan was a mind obsessed with conquest, science, military innovation, and destiny itself. Since childhood, Mehmed had studied the history of Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, and the greatest commanders in human history. He spoke multiple languages, studied philosophy and engineering, and spent countless nights imagining the fall of Constantinople. He believed he was destined to conquer the city. But Mehmed understood something that previous armies had failed to realize. Traditional warfare would never defeat Constantinople. No ordinary siege could break walls that had survived for over a millennium. If the city was going to fall, the rules of war themselves had to change. And so, the young sultan began preparing one of the most revolutionary military campaigns the world had ever seen. He summoned a mysterious Hungarian engineer named Orban, a master of metallurgy and cannon design. Orban had previously offered his services to the Byzantines, but the financially weakened empire could not afford his ambitious projects. Mehmed immediately recognized the engineer's genius. The Sultan asked him one question: "Can you build a weapon powerful enough to destroy the walls of Constantinople?" Orban reportedly replied, "I can build a cannon capable of destroying not only those walls, but the walls of Babylon itself." In the Ottoman capital of Edirne, construction began on an unimaginable superweapon. Gigantic furnaces burned day and night. Molten bronze flowed like rivers. Thousands of workers forged what would become one of the largest cannons ever created in human history: the Great Basilica Cannon. The weapon was monstrous. It stretched over 8 meters long. It fired enormous stone balls weighing more than half a ton. The sound of its blast could reportedly be heard kilometers away, shaking the earth beneath people's feet. Transporting the cannon itself became an engineering operation unlike anything seen before. It required 60 oxen and hundreds of men just to move it slowly across rough terrain toward Constantinople. Bridges had to be reinforced. Roads had to be widened. Entire logistical systems were redesigned simply to bring the weapon to the battlefield. For the first time in history, artillery was no longer a support weapon. It had become the centerpiece of warfare. And with it, the Middle Ages were approaching their end. On April 6, 1453, the siege officially began. An enormous Ottoman army surrounded Constantinople from every direction. Tens of thousands of soldiers, elite janissaries, cavalry divisions, engineers, and massive siege cannons stood before the legendary walls. Then came the first shot. The giant cannon roared like thunder. The ground trembled. A section of the ancient wall exploded under the impact. For weeks, the bombardment continued relentlessly. Day after day, the Ottoman artillery hammered the city with unprecedented force. Smoke filled the skies. Towers collapsed. Stones shattered across the streets. Yet somehow, Constantinople endured. Every night, while Ottoman soldiers rested, Byzantine defenders rushed to repair the breaches under.